Afternoons. Pastor Jared here, running a little bit behind today. Some other things are going on, so wanted to make sure and get our devotion done today. We're looking at Hebrews 11, verses 17 through 40. By faith, Abraham was tested. And offered up Isaac. Let me start over. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac. He had received the promises, yet was ready to offer up his only son. God had told him, through Isaac, descendants will carry your name. And he reasoned that if God could even raise him from the dead, that God could even raise him from the dead. And in a sense, he received him back from there. By faith also, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning the future. By faith, Jacob, as he was dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph, and worshipped as he leaned on his staff. By faith, Joseph, at the end of his life, mentioned the exodus of the sons of Israel and gave instructions about his burial. By faith, when Moses was born, his parents hid him for 3 months because they saw the child was beautiful and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, when he grew up, Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be ill-treated with the people of God than to enjoy sin's fleeting pleasure. He regarded abuse suffered for Christ to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for his eyes were fixed on the reward. By faith he left Egypt without fearing the king's anger, for he persevered as though he could see the one who is invisible. By faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, so that the one who destroyed the firstborn would not touch them. By faith they crossed the Red Sea as if on dry ground, but when the Egyptians tried, they were swallowed up. By faith the walls of Jericho fell after the people marched around them for 7 days. By faith Rahab the prostitute escaped the destruction of the disobedient, because she welcomed the spies in peace. What more shall I say? What for time will fail me if we tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, and of David and Samuel and the prophets. Through faith they conquered kingdoms, administered justice, gained what was promised, shut the mouths of lions, quenched the raging fire, escaped the edge of the sword, gained strength in weakness, became mighty in battle, put foreign armies to flight, and women received back their dead, raised to life. But others were tortured, not accepting release to obtain resurrection to a better life. And others experienced mocking and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, sawed apart, murdered by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins. They were destitute, afflicted, ill-treated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in the deserts and mountains and caves and openings in the earth. And these were all commended for their faith, yet they did not receive what was promised. For God had provided something better for us, so that they would be made perfect together with us. In this passage, the writer of Hebrews is reminding the readers that we have, and we'll, next chapter we'll use the term cloud of witnesses. We have these examples that went before us of people who lived by faith, even though they didn't receive the fulfillment of that ultimate promise. They lived by faith knowing that God was faithful, and they followed after him. And when we look back at these people, we see people who struggled at times. We see people who trusted in God, and God was with them. And for me, as I look at that, it reminds me the need for me to make sure that I am trusting in God. That's one of the reasons it's important that we read the New Testament, the Old Testament, and on a regular basis, so we can constantly be reminded of the stories of God's people and what God has done through them, because God is not done working through his people. I sometimes talk about the church needs to be an Acts 29 church, meaning the church would continue what is going on in Acts. The last chapter of Acts in the Bible is Acts 28. But we are the continuance of Acts, that as we follow after God, we continue the story of God's people. And it's not this, well, God worked here and he's no longer doing those sort of things. No, God is still at work. God is still working in ways that would astound us if we just paid attention, if we just listened to him, if we just trusted him. May we be a people who trust God in the big things, trust God in the small things, and learn from this cloud of witnesses to trust in a reward much better. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a wonderful day.